Hey everybody, it's 8 o'clock, it's Tuesday, and it's time for Quizcazottl's Publess Pub Quiz. A little bit of a public service announcement before we start. Our internet at Quizcazoatl Temple HQ has gone down, and we are running tethered to what I believe is referred to as a mobile phone. So we may be a little more likely than normal to lose the signal. So please do bear with us. We will try and get things going as smoothly as possible. There's little Chris. As you can see, this week I've been in Australia. There's no real explanation for why I've been in Australia, but I clearly have. So that's pretty exciting. So, for those of you who are new, let me introduce the Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz concept. We are the internet's premier Tuesday 8 p.m. Publess Pub Quiz. We have 4 rounds of questions. The first round, which we refer to as round 1, will be a selection of trivia questions that you will get off me on this here YouTube stream, as well as some picture questions which you will get from a picture sheet which you can download from the internet. If you're playing with someone who's played before, hopefully you will have already got a picture sheet from bit.ly/quizcazoatl_pictures. And if that link isn't very easy, you can get that on the YouTube page for this very stream in the About section. So get that PDF down. Little bit of a secret tip. This quiz has really a lot of pictures. The first 7 are going to come up in round 1. The next 7 are going to come up in the next round. So it is a good idea to be looking ahead. If you wait until I announce them, then you may fall behind. But I will announce from time to time. One of the questions is going to be a picture question. The second round, which is the music round, will come up after that. We will play you 6 songs spread across from the 60s through to the 10s. And we will ask you who sang them and who they were by. We will then move to the third round, which is named round 2, because obviously it would be, which is back to trivia and picture questions. And finally, we will come on to the wipeout round. That is where we make and break our teams at the Quizcazoatl Quiz. If you are playing, then you might want to answer the questions, and that means you ought to get onto an answer sheet. Hopefully you have already set up your teams. You are all connected via your headsets, phones, iPads, computers, chatting, comparing notes with each other, and wondering why I don't get on with it and start reading questions. So you can go to bit.ly/quizcazoatl_answers, and one of your teams should fill out the answer sheet. If you would be so kind, we are very grateful here in the temple if you can give us an email address. And by giving us that, you are agreeing to mark one of the other teams once we get onto the marking phase. That really speeds things up for me. And thank you very, very much to our listeners who responded to my call out for extra markers. I have a little team willing to help me out this week if we have any gaps in our marking, and we will hopefully be able to speed things along a little bit that way. That is most of the things I should say. Of course, the final point to note is this is a trivia quiz, and in case it wasn't obvious, that means that you shouldn't go out to Google and look up all the answers. So get your team in order, get your thinking caps on, and without further ado, one further ado, at the start of round 1 and the music round and round 2, you will be asked to give a name for your quiz team. Please do use the same name for each round, or else it is very difficult here at Quizcazoatl HQ for me to work out which team gave all the answers. Anyway, with that end to further adoing, I am going to come on to question 1. So let's see whether I have this all set up neatly this week. That is a little bit off to one side, isn't it? So let me just bring that little guy down, if we can. Anyway, I'll tell you, I'll read it out and then I'll straighten it out once I've read it. So question 1, according to the well-known proverb, what can't you make without breaking eggs? According to the well-known proverb, what can't you make without breaking eggs? Is it a chicken cry? Is it a capital Y? I'm not sure. That's the one for you. Get your answers in. We'll be back with question 2 in a moment. And if you are new, don't panic. I do leave a little bit of time between questions. If I've gone silent, and especially if my lips aren't moving, it's probably because I'm just giving you a moment to think. Okay, everybody. And that brings us up to question 2. And we are asking a natural world question. Isn't that exciting? What follows natterjack in the name of a species of European animal? We're not interested in the Australian natterjack, even though I have this natty hat on. We are interested in the European natterjack. What name follows that? And in about 30 seconds, if all goes well, for those of you who were watching last week, you'll remember we have a tiebreak queued up for the 2 teams that came out at the top of the table last week. So we are, if I can get it all running, I'm going to let you think about this question for a minute. Then we will be back with a tiebreaker. Exciting!
I'm wonderful, thank you, Chris. Tired of repeating myself at this point in time, but
Oh dear. Now, isn't it? Life in the land of tech issues.
well, exactly.
Oh, there we are. Now we have sound. Everyone has sound. This is excellent. Right, let's bring Andrew back. Hey, Andrew.
Hello, Chris. How are you today?
Isn't that better? There we are. Thanks for bearing with us, everybody. It's an adventure. And for the what was your team called, Andrew?
I think it might have been called It's a Little Bit Hippie for Me, maybe?
Sounds a little bit hippie to me.
Sounds-
It does sound hippie to me. And also from all the way from, let's see, hey, Kat, where are you calling from?
Hi, Wickham.
Hi, Wickham. This is exciting.
know.
We've gone out of London for the first time for a tiebreak.
Rock and roll.
So, thank you for bearing with us, everyone. And what was your team, Kat?
We are Panic at the Tesco.
Panic at the Tesco, panic on the podcast. That's what I say. So, we are going to be asking you to name a year, as we did last week, from 3 events. So we're going to do the same system. When one of you has an answer, feel free to shout in. Just say honk to show that you've buzzed. If you get it wrong, I'll then pass it to your opponent, and we are going to bounce back and forth in that manner until somebody gets where am I? Somebody gets the right year, which I now realise I cannot see. So the first event is Giorgio Armani was born. Our second event, Brigitte Bardot was born. And remember, plus or minus 3 years either way, a little bit of leeway. And finally, one of our all-time favourite Quizcazoatl celebrities, Charles Manson, was also born in this year.
1948.
1948, that is not close enough, I'm afraid, Kat. Morse? Andrew?
I think 1945.
I can tell you were both high, and I'm passing it back to Kat.
1941.
Still high? On to Andrew.
1936.
1936, Andrew, is close enough. The correct answer is 1934. For the second week in a row, sounds a bit hippie to me, win the tiebreak. Well played, team. It has been great to have you on. Thank you for bearing with me. The technical difficulties weren't so bad. And good luck for the rest of the quiz. Everyone else, we better get on with some more questions. Hope you enjoyed seeing some of your fellow participants. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Chris. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
There we go. Seamless as ever. Now, I am so seamless as ever that I do not quite have the pictures queued up yet either. So hopefully you all have the pictures in front of you. Question 3 was picture 1, but I'm going to take us along to question 4. Then I'll get some of the pictures up in a minute. So question 4 is going to be, How many letters are there in the conundrum on the TV show Countdown? How many letters are there in the conundrum on the TV show Countdown? I remember once when I was little, my parents used to video Countdown, and my brother watched it in advance and then knew the answer to the conundrum immediately and used that little bit of foreknowledge to show off. But happily, none of my siblings would ever try to find foreknowledge to show off in a battle of wits anymore, would they, Fiona? Anyway, how many letters are there in the conundrum on the TV show Countdown? Okay, and there we are. Barely a moment late, we also have question 3, picture 1 up on screen for anyone who isn't looking at the sheet. So we're looking for names. All of these people share their name with another famous person. But what is that pair of names? And it does say sometimes loosely, so you might have to give a little bit of leeway for the famous person who they share it with. Okay, let's get moving again, and we're going to go on to question 5. So question 5, a little bit of geography for you. In which country is Machu Picchu? Sounds very pertinent to the Quizcazoatl experience. In which country is Machu Picchu? And question 6 brings us on to another picture. Can you name the missing items from the Venn diagrams in... Ooh, is that not going to move on? There we go. Can you name the items missing in the Venn diagrams in this picture? You've got 2 sets of things, but one item overlaps. Can you work out what it is? Okay, and hopefully you've looked at those already, so I'm going to push us along to another question. Question 7. What word describes trees that shed their leaves annually? And it comes around to what the Americans would refer to as the fall, because the leaves fall off. Innie. We would call it the autumn, but what do we call the trees that shed their leaves? Okay, and moving on from that up to question 8 now. What are the 3 capital cities of EU member countries? You know about the European Union. It's a organisation of nations on continental Europe. Mostly continental Europe anyway. We're not in it. But there are 3 countries that have capitals that start with the letter V. Can you name them? Okay, for question 9, we're back to the pictures and we're going to picture 3. This is a question that, as you see, really takes the biscuit. We're looking for the common names, so we're not looking for the Latin names of any of these biscuits, only the common names of each of these 7 biscuits. And I might have cut off the dashes. Where you have the dashes marking letters, do bear in mind that there will be the right number of dashes for the letters, but you might have to look at your PDF to get that accurately. Okay, let's power on to question 10 now. Question 10 gets a little bit musical, but we're not having any audio yet. We have got some lyrics to name. We are looking for song title and artist. And does remind me, before I read those lyrics out, of something I forgot to mention earlier. In the Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz, every question, or rather every answer, is worth a point as a rule of thumb, unless otherwise indicated. So when we ask for a song title and an artist, that is 2 points available. When we ask for those 3 capital cities, that was 3 points available. Anyway, here's the lyric. Just shoot for the stars, if it feels right, and aim for my heart, if you feel like, and take me away. Just shoot for the stars, if it feels right, and aim for my heart, if you feel like, and take me away. Who's that lyric by, and what song was it from? Okay, we have hit halfway in round 1, and that brings us to our first spot prize question. Now, for those who haven't played before, the spot prize question is a question that you can enter as an individual, so get away from that team. They are holding you back. Shine on your own. You send your response to me via your choice of messaging service. If you send it to quizcazoatl@gmail.com or via Facebook Messenger to the Quizcazoatl page. I remain slightly uncertain how you do it, but some people do, so it's possible. I will definitely look at them. If you send them to me personally via Messenger or WhatsApp or something, I will do my best to look at them. And in the spot prize question, we are looking for the closest guess. So, let's see. It's important to note the spot prize question isn't really for anything except for your own pride. We were trying to set up a sponsorship deal to get you some free beers, and that hasn't happened, so it really is just for the joy and honour of being a Quizcazoatl spot prize winner. There you go. Anyway, so the question is, in 2003, when Mars was the closest it had been to the Earth since 57,617 BC, how many miles away was it? When Mars was at the closest it had been to the Earth in 60,000 years, how many miles away was it? So, send those in. I will have a look at them, and in about 5 questions' time, I will let you know who is this week's first spot prize winner. And while you think about that, I'll also give you another team question. So, team question is, which football club retired the number 10 shirt in the year 2000 after Diego Maradona left in 1991? Which football club retired the number 10 shirt in 2000 after Diego Maradona left in 1991? Okay, and when you've stopped thinking about the hand of God, we are going to go on to question 12, and that is going to be another picture. We're done with the biscuits, and we are coming into films with girls' names in their titles. There's 5 stills taken from films, all of which have a girl's name in the title. But who is that girl, and can you use her in the title of the film in question? I hasten to add, the point is only for the film. There's not a second point for the girl. Okay, now we come on to question 13. It's unlucky for some, but could it be lucky for you? It's a question about the lottery. The National Lottery in the UK was launched under which Prime Minister? We all know that it's a great way to take money off of people who are sort of statistically optimistic and give it to generally okay causes. Some of them are good, some of them are, what are you going to do? But under which UK Prime Minister was the UK National Lottery launched? And while we're talking about good causes, as you can probably tell, an awful lot of money and resources go into running the Quizcazoatl Publess Quiz. I lay out up to £12 a week to sustain this quiz, and I'm not asking for anything back from you. I am give. Jane, who does the graphic design, really wishes that she could be paid, but I told her, no, we are giving back to the people. However, if you would like to repay our generosity with your generosity, given the ongoing catastrophe of the COVID-19 epidemic, I have put a link to allow you to donate to our local food bank. Lewisham Food Bank is just up the road from the Quizcazoatl Temple. So if anyone would like to make a donation there, I'm sure it is much needed and would be very much appreciated. And that link is on the YouTube homepage, the page that you get to when you go bit.ly/quizcaz. So thank you in advance for any generosity indeed. And we've had a request over the comment thread, and if anyone would like to request another question be read, do use the YouTube comment thread. That is the quickest way to get me. So question 11. Which football club retired the number 10 shirt in the year 2000 after Diego Maradona left in 1991? They took their time, but eventually they decided to salute his quality. Time for question 14, and we are headed back to the pictures. This time, picture 5. Let's get that on screen. And we are on to predictive text. Hailing from that strange time in human history when there was only one service you could use to send written messages to each other, except letters, or faxes, or telegrams. So only one of several services you could use to send textual messages to each other, but you had to do it by pressing numbers. Isn't that interesting? Anyway, can you solve these predictive text conundra and give me 2 types of oil? Okay, on from the oil, and we are asking for question 15, an archery question. I was thinking myself about watching Robin Hood Men in Tights this week, and I wish I had, because then I could know the answer, one would imagine. It's got the guy from The Princess Bride in. But anyway, the question is, which colour ring surrounds the gold centre of an archery target? The middle of an archery target is gold, but if you miss that by just a tiny little bit, what is the colour of the ring that goes around it? Okay, we're closing towards the back half of round 1 now. And question 16, what's the first name of Professor McGonagall in the Harry Potter books and films? She likes to say things like, Potter? But what's her first name? Okay. I've been having a look at those Mars answers, and a couple of them are a little bit out there. Someone, for instance, said 12 miles. Now, if you think you might have submitted an answer and forgotten to include one of the units, then do let me know and I can revamp and reconsider. Did 12 miles mean 12,000? 12 million? 12 billion? Anyway, I'll come back and tell you who's closest and in a bit, and at the moment the closest is quite far away. While you're all thinking about that, let's get another picture up. And let's see what picture 17 has to say for us. It's picture 6, and we are asking you to get that. There we go. Asking you to name some logos which are also icons for apps. After predictive text went out, apps on your phone came in. But what apps have these logos? Okay, on to question 18. Only 3 questions left. If you do want anything repeated, let me know. Once you submit after question 20, those answers are in and they are yours forever. And then we go to the music round. So question 18. In which decade did the UK War Office cease to exist? Do you remember that? Once upon a time, we had a department for going to war. Now we have a department for defending ourselves by going to war in other countries. It's a big shift. So in what decade did the War Office cease to exist and transfer its function to the Ministry of Defence? Okay, I have disappointing news for those of you who entered the Mars competition, which is that none of you really appear to have any idea where Mars is, unless we did have some missing units. However, the closest answer, it's sort of a matter of opinion, depends whether you count it logarithmically or just in terms of the sheer number of miles. You see, Daniel, I think you got the closest answer despite the fact that you are a factor of about 300 out. Sam, you were sort of closest in spirit because you did get up there into the tens of millions of miles, but you just took a few too many. So I'm afraid Daniel, with 100,000 of the answers I've seen, is closest to the correct answer, which is 34,646. Sam, I think in spirit you were doing much better with 240 million, whatever you said, but the point, which doesn't exist, goes to Daniel. Well played, sir. Okay, on to the last picture question of the round. And we are going to be looking at, a different picture in a second. I'll just tell you what you need to do for now, and I'll get that up shortly. So we have 3 people, and they were all born in the same year. But can you name those 3 people, and can you tell me in what year were they all born? And because we are give here at the Quizcazoatl Pub Quiz, we are going to let you have 2 years grace in either direction. There they are. The commute to work was never the same after Terry Wogan stopped doing the breakfast show. If you have some time to kill during lockdown, I cannot recommend highly enough the Janet and John stories. You can still get recordings of those off of YouTube, and they are amusing. That's what you would say about Sir Terry. He was an amusing man. May he rest in peace. Anyway, I have just told you who one of those people were, which in hindsight was a mistake. So, I apologise for that. That was not well thought through. That's a little freebie, so we give you plus or minus 2 years either way, and some of the answers. I'm a monster. My apologies for that one. I will talk less and give you more of question 20. So, for the final question of the round, that could have broken the whole quiz. What a disaster. For the final question of the round, we are asking, what is the term for a breast X-ray? What is the term for a breast X-ray? Now, you should have all of your answers down, more or less. Make sure you haven't missed anything out. Come back to anything you were waiting on, and I am going to give you, let's say, about 4 minutes to just finalise round 1, and then we are going to move on to the music round. Okay, team. So that brings us on to the music round. Now, in the music round, we are going to hear not one, not two, not three, also not four. It's genuinely more than five. It's 6 songs, and they are going to be ordered in a way which is as follows. They are going to be ordered by the year they were released. Although in some cases it has been known for a re-release to turn up, so be on your toes. Anyway, we're not asking you to get the year. We want you to tell us who sang the song and what is it called. The first one will be the 60s, then 70s, 80s, 90s, noughties, 10s. We're not doing the 20s because nobody knows any of that stuff. Who listens to music anymore? Anyway, without further ado, here is the music round.
Funny feeling being here with you, and I like it more with every day, and I like it always hearing you say you're liking it too, you're liking it too.
The Indians send signals from the rocks above the pass. The cowboys take position in the bushes and the grass. The squaw is with the corporal, she is tied against a tree. She doesn't mind the language, it's the beating she don't need. She lets loose all the horses when the corporal is asleep, and he wakes to find the fire's dead and arrows in his axe.
Okay, have a bit of a mull on those. I'll play them again in a couple of minutes. Okay, you've had time to think. Let's play that music one more time.
I like the funny feeling being here with you. And I like it know with every day. And I like it always hearing you say you're liking it too. You're liking it too.
The Indians send signals from the rocks above the pass. The cowboys take position in the bushes and the grass. The score is with the corporal, she is tied against a tree. She doesn't mind the language, it's the beating she don't need. She lets loose all the horses when the corporal is asleep. And he wakes to find the fires dead and arrows in his axe.
You held me down, but I got up, already brushing off the dust. You hear my voice, you hear that sound, like thunder gonna shake the ground. You held me down, but I got up. Get ready, 'cause I've had enough. I see it all, I see it now. I got the eye of the tiger, the fighter, dancing through the fire, 'cause I am a champion.
And what a series of bangers that was. For my taste, maybe a little easier than some weeks, but we'll see how everyone did when the scores start to come in. Speaking of which, you should have got your answer sheets for round one submitted safely a while ago, and that means that it is time for me to send out the marking sheets. So I am going to do that. Have a look on your email address if you were kind enough to provide us with one. And after the first couple of questions from round two, we are going to come back and we will mark round one, and then a little later we'll mark the music round. But before all of that, it is time to click through from the music to round two if you're ready. And if you're not ready, well, you can take a moment, because I am going to put up an anagram. So, question one of round two, it's what you've all been waiting for, the anagram, genuine class. It's the name of a famous male actor. Genuine class, GENUINECLASS. Be thinking about that. I am going to be sending out those marking links. Okay, and that is just going to take me a moment longer than I thought it ought to, so I'm going to set us off on question 2 of round 2 as well. What is the more common name for an alligator pair? That's not two alligators. It's spelt P-E-R-A. Hang on, it isn't. It's spelt P-E-A-R. But what is the more common name for an alligator pair? Okay, and if you've opened your marking sheet, you'll probably see I forgot to delete all of the marks from last time. So do bear with me. I am just getting rid of all of that. There is always something. So while we just wait for everything to update, we are going to go on to the first picture round question of this half. And we are going to be asking road sign initials. So here we have the skeleton of a road sign. Do you remember when you used to go out of the house and drive somewhere in a car? Well, you would have done well to pay attention to these road signs, but what would they say if the letters weren't missing? Okay, with a little luck, those marking sheets are now ready. My apologies for giving you those random scores from last time. They did not relate to the answers you were reading. If you have any trouble with your answer sheet, do please let me know through the comments on YouTube or through your favoured messaging service. But comments on YouTube is the one that will get my attention fastest. Without further ado then, so as I say, in this quiz it is 1 mark per answer. If there are 2 answers to a question, that person can get 2 marks, or that team can get 2 marks. I think the most we have for a question is 7 for one of the pictures in this round. That is a big question. So, round 1, question 1, we asked, according to the well-known proverb, what can you not make without breaking eggs? It wasn't a chicken cry. There's actually several other ways to make a chicken cry, most of them being industrially applied. But the answer is, in fact, an omelette. You can't make an omelette without breaking eggs. 1 point for question 1. What follows natterjack in the name of a species of European animal? It's a toad. Natterjack is a toad. 1 point for toad. Then on to picture 1, and we had 6 people to name. They all share their name with another famous person. First we had Thomas More, a real man for all seasons, that one. We then had Michelle Williams, Tom Hardy, Jane Seymour, Anne Hathaway, and Steve McQueen. 6 points available for question 3. Thomas More, Michelle Williams, Tom Hardy, Jane Seymour, Anne Hathaway, and Steve McQueen. For question 4, we asked how many letters there are in the conundrum on the TV show Countdown. It's 9 letters. It's a 9-letter anagram. You can also do an anagram on this show. Isn't that nice? For question 5, we asked what country is Machu Picchu in? The answer, Peru. You can climb, I think it's the Inca Trail in Peru, so it's not really as Quizcazoatl as I led you to believe. A little bit of smoke and mirrors, but I'm sure someone who's been there can remind me. Hang on a second. Everyone is on the same answer sheet. This is unfortunate. Okay. I am grinding to a halt. So why, oh why, is that true? I'm going to go off for a second, and I will read those answers again once I have sent you a new set of links. My apologies. I guess that I should give you a question to be going on with while you're thinking about how I keep fluffing this up. So let's get on to question number 4 of round 2. I hope that you weren't correcting each other's marking too much. So question 4 of round 2. What Latin medical term translates to stiffness of death? It's a cheerful one. What Latin medical term translates as stiffness of death? Okay, I am getting there with that. That was a pretty stupid little bit of faffing around earlier that broke everything. Before we get back to the marking, I'm going to ask question 5. Which group of religious people generally call all outsiders English, regardless of ethnicity? Might be the Welsh, but could it be someone else? Which group of religious people generally call all outsiders English, regardless of their ethnicity? Okay, let's get back to the pictures. And for our next picture question, which is going to be picture 9 on your sheets, we're going to ask about some French loanwords used in English. We loaned them from the French. Presumably, now we're leaving the European Union, we're going to have to give them back. But what is a foot on ground earth, a household of 3, and you know what? They're written on the picture. I'll let you read them. And then let's keep on moving ahead and let us get ourselves along to question 7. Khartoum is the capital of which African country? Khartoum is the capital of which African country? And then let's move on to question 8. I am going to be trying, with a little bit of luck, to send out those marking sheets again after this. So please do go to your emails and look for a new link, and you will not all have the same link anymore. Seamless, isn't it? Oh, we're on to the mystery voices. Even better. Alrighty, so for mystery voices, we are going to hear the voices of probably 3, possibly 4 people. You have to listen in and tell me, to whom do those voices belong? Listen to what they're saying. You might get an extra clue.
Number 1.
All your respectable middle-aged married friends go completely off the rails. All your lady friends with the big fat arms who've done nothing for 25 years but sit on a settee with a bag of kettle chips propped up on their bust, suddenly losing 4 stones, zipping themselves into suede trousers and going, "This is my time, Derek."
Number 2.
Hello? It's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet. Just have a drive around. Hello? Hello from the outside. All right, see you in a minute.
Number 3.
Beaches has reached 30. It touched a chord in a lot of women. You know, they had best friends, and their best friends drifted away or things happen. You know how life is. It just gets in the way of all the fun.
Okay, let's hear those voices one more time.
Number 1.
All your respectable middle-aged married friends go completely off the rails. All your lady friends with the big fat arms who've done nothing for 25 years but sit on a settee with a bag of kettle chips propped up on their bust, suddenly losing 4 stones, zipping themselves into suede trousers and going, "This is my time, Derek."
Number 2.
Hello? It's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet. Just have a drive around. Hello? Hello from the outside. All right, see you in a minute.
Number 3.
Beaches has reached 30. It touched a chord in a lot of women. You know, they had best friends, and their best friends drifted away or things happen. You know how life is. It just gets in the way of all the fun.
Okay, with a little luck, you will have an answer sheet that can actually be marked individually this time. My apologies. Ironically, when I was being very clever earlier and setting up my sheet to take advantage of those extra people who volunteered to help me with marking, I messed everything up. And then every single team this week has given an email address and will be marking anyway. So it was all for naught, and it all messed me up. But might be useful next week. Anyway, so let us very quickly review those 5 questions that I'd already given answers for. I've also got a request coming in to have the mystery voices one more time, so we'll come back to them in a couple more questions. So let's see, so I'm hearing that it may still look shared. Can someone tell me what number they're seeing on this sheet that they've got? So it may be if people haven't shut it down from last time, it will still show them as accessing it. So hopefully, let's just have a look and see whether we have people on other sheets. Hopefully that's just a little bit of an artifact of what was happening. Okay, yeah, so Daniel, I think you just have some, hopefully some passive viewers. Everyone else is on to new sheets. If you still have answer sheet 1 open, do feel free to close it because Daniel gets worried. Yeah, okay, we are good, we are good. Awesome, in it. So, the first question, what can you not make without breaking any eggs? The answer was an omelette. The second question, what is a natterjack? A European animal. It's a toad. We then had 6 answers for the first picture. So this was people who share their names with famous people, possibly more famous people in a couple of cases. And we had Thomas More, Michelle Williams, Tom Hardy, Jane Seymour, Anne Hathaway, and Steve McQueen. That's 6 points available. Thomas More, Michelle Williams, Tom Hardy, Jane Seymour, Anne Hathaway, Steve McQueen. How many letters on the conundrum in Countdown on the television? It's 9. 9 letters in the Countdown conundrum. Where is Machu Picchu? It's in Peru. Question 6 took us to picture 2, and we were looking for missing items from the Venn diagrams. First off, we had Johnson & Johnson. That's pharmaceutical companies and double prime ministers. Then for number 2, we had triangle. That was anagrams and percussive instruments. Clever. Then finally, number 3, we had primates. This was Catholic ranks in the plural and taxonomic orders of animals. If ever you suspected that those priests were a bunch of monkeys, now is your proof. 3 points there, Johnson & Johnson, triangle and primates. For question 7, we were asking what word describes trees that shed their leaves annually. The answer, deciduous. It's not evergreen. Question 8 took us to capital cities, and 3 EU member countries have capitals that start with the letter V. We had Vienna, Austria, means nothing to me. We had Vilnius in Lithuania, and finally we had Valletta in Malta. If you're ever able to travel again, I can recommend Malta. It's very nice, and you can get a good cup of tea. That's my 2 basic criteria for a holiday. Question 9, and we were back to the pictures, with 7, count them, 7 biscuit brands. First, Oreo, disgusting thing, belongs in America and should have stayed there, but so it goes. Then on to a proper British biscuit named after a French royal family. It's the Bourbon. For the third, we had a proper British biscuit named after an Italian revolutionary, the Garibaldi. 4, we have the party ring. For 5, we're on to the ginger nut. We will accept ginger nuts. For 6, the malted milk. And finally, number 7, that's a fig roll, but we will also accept a Newton. 7 points available, Oreo, Bourbon, Garibaldi, party ring, ginger nut, malted milk, fig roll. Question 10, we had some lyrics to name. The lyric was, just shoot for the stars if it feels right, and aim for my heart if you like, and take me away. And that is from Moves Like Jagger by Maroon 5. You do not get a bonus point for saying featuring Christina Aguilera, but well played if you said it. Which football club retired the number 10 shirt in 2000 following the departure of Diego Maradona in 1991? That is Napoli, or SSC Napoli to give them their full name. Picture 4 for question 12, and we had the full titles of 5 films. They all had a woman's name in the title. We had Anna Karenina, the Tolstoy classic, Matilda, Driving Miss Daisy, Muriel's Wedding, and The Young Victoria. That's Anna Karenina, Matilda, Driving Miss Daisy, Muriel's Wedding, The Young Victoria. The National Lottery was launched under which Prime Minister? It was still John Major. That was all the way back in 1994. Picture 5 for question 14 and 2 predictive texts. We had sunflower oil and crude oil. 2 points there. Sunflower and crude. Did you hit the target for question 15, or did you stray slightly away into the red? It's a red ring which surrounds the bullseye on an archery target. The first name of Professor McGonagall in the Harry Potter books and films, it's Minerva. Minerva for question 16. Question 17 took us to picture 6, and we had some video calling apps with logos and icons. We had House Party, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and Google Hangouts. I think I've had a request for question 11 again. That was Napoli. SSC Napoli was the football team that discontinued its number 10 shirt. Back to where we were, and where we were was, oh yes, the video calling apps. So I'll go over them one more time for question 17. House Party, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and Google Hangouts. Question 18, in which decade did the War Office cease to exist and become the Ministry of Defence? It was the 1960s, specifically 1964. Someone has claimed that Hangouts is meat now. I am not sure that is strictly true. I will look that up and get back to you on whether meat is an acceptable alternative answer for Hangouts. We had 3 people in picture 7 and the year they were born. The people were Christopher Lloyd, Etta James, and I bet very few of you got this, Terry Wogan. That was Terry Wogan for the third one there. They were born in 1938. There is some discussion on the thread, and Hangouts and meat remain separate. So if anyone has put meat instead of Hangouts, dock them 10 points. That's minus 10 points for anyone who put meat instead of Hangouts on question 17. Finally, the answer to question 20, what is the term for a breast X-ray? It's a mammogram. But we will also accept mastogram, mammography, mastography, and I didn't mention this at the beginning, and hopefully you read this on the marking sheets, but remember, this is not a spelling quiz, so be a little bit generous. If people have spelt things wrong, give them the point anyway. That is the end of round 1 scoring. There were 47 points there. I will give you a bit of a review and tell you how well everyone did in a minute. We'll have 3 or 4 more questions, then we'll mark the music round. We were also asked, should we accept Teams for Microsoft Teams? I think that Microsoft Teams would be acceptable as far as I'm concerned. So if you just put Hangouts or you just put Teams for Microsoft Teams or Google Hangouts, that would be acceptable. Remember, if you put Meet instead of Google Hangouts, that's minus 10 points. And if you put the full Google Meet, that is minus 50 points. So please take 50 points off of anyone who put Google Meet for question 17. And that brings us on to funky groovy question 9 from round 2. No, we still have more questions about the answers. The middle woman, I assume for picture 19, or question 19 rather, that was Etta James. So question 19, the 3 people born in 1938, and we will accept 2 years either way. So if they put 1936 to 1940, please do make sure you've still given them the point. 1936 to 1940, and the names were Christopher Lloyd, Etta James, and Terry Wogan. Okay, so, and I will cue you up with question 9 of round 2, and question 9 is, what breed is the Dulux dog? We're looking for a 3-word answer, so it's probably not Doberman. And then we are on to question 10, which is picture 10. The only time when the number of the picture eclipses the number of the question in the round. A little bit of science knowledge there. So we are looking for 4 odd ones out from the lists in picture 10. But what are they? We've got people who played Sherlock Holmes. We've got land borders. We've got the NHS Health A to Z. And we have stuff that happens in November. But which are not things that belong on those lists? And while you're thinking about those pictures, we still have just one spot prize question left. Now remember, on the last spot prize question, no one got anywhere close at all, and frankly not that many people participated, which is fair. But we're going to keep flogging away at the spot prizes, and we are asking, in terms of area, how many times would England fit into Russia? Not including the Crimea, because it's not theirs and they should give it back. So, in terms of area, how many times would England fit into Russia? It's not the UK, only England. As before, if you'd like to give an answer and get a shout out on the YouTubeo, then send in either to quizcazoatl@gmail.com, to the Quizcazoatl Facebook account, or any other way you think that I will look at it. And we'd had a request as well for the mystery voices again, so I'm going to play them one more time now.
Number 1.
All your respectable middle-aged married friends go completely off the rails. All your lady friends with the big fat arms who've done nothing for 25 years but sit on a settee with a bag of kettle chips propped up on their bust, suddenly losing 4 stone, zipping themselves into suede trousers and going, "This is my time, Derek."
Number 2.
Hello? It's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet. Just have a drive around. Hello? Hello from the outside. All right, see you in a minute.
Number 3.
Beaches has reached 30. It touched a chord in a lot of women. You know, they had best friends. And their best friends drifted away or things happen. You know how life is. It just gets in the way of all the fun.
Okay, that is as good a time as any to quickly go back to our marking sheets. So, if you left them open, reopen them. If you closed them, go back to the link in your email. And we're going to run through and find out who those singers and such were in the music round. So music rounds from the 60s. We had Jerry and the Pacemakers with I Like It. Jerry and the Pacemakers, I Like It. 2 points available for each here. 1 for the artist, 1 for the title. Then for the next question, Squeeze with Cool for Cats. From the 70s, we had Squeeze with Cool for Cats. From the 80s, we had a banger from Peter Gabriel. It's worth checking out the video to that on YouTube if you've never seen it. It is a classic of the music video genre. Peter Gabriel with Sledgehammer. From the 90s, we used to hear a lot of this at nightclubs when I was a student. And that was Reef with Place Your Hands. Moving into the noughties, from the largely forgotten movie The Beach, it was All Saints with Pure Shores. It's not called The Beach, it's called Pure Shores. And finally, getting on top of her Inner Eye of the Tiger, we had Katy Perry, and she had Raw. That's from 2013. Katy Perry, Raw. So 12 points available for the music. And the 60s song again, for anyone who missed it, Jerry and the Pacemakers with I Like It. So get those answers marked, and I will finally give you that update on the scores that I've been promising after one more question. And the one more question is going to be, at over 400 miles longer than the Danube, what is the longest river in Europe? At over 100 miles, at over 400 miles longer than the Danube, what is the longest river in Europe? And we also had a request for the 80s song again. The 80s song was Peter Gabriel with Sledgehammer. Peter Gabriel with Sledgehammer. Okay, let's see how everyone is doing after 2 rounds. We have 8 teams this week, and we have quite a spread. Last week we were a little bit more compressed. We have sorted everyone out a bit this time. So, after 2 rounds, we have the correctly and clearly titled, in fact this title is so long I gonna have to wrap the text round. We have the correctly, usefully and clearly titled, Be alert, stay safe, go to work, but don't if it's not safe. Don't use public transport, but go to work. They have 36 points after 2 rounds. Just ahead of them we have Just Heather. They have got 40 points after the first 2 rounds. Ginger Bear's Barmy Army coming in with 33 points in round 1 and 8 points on the music for 41. Sounds a bit hippie to me. Double winners, but distinctly mid-table this time. Only 35 points on the first round, then 11 for 46. The Footlins, a solid regular player. They're on 48 in 4th place. Then the Isolation Haircuts. They are possibly the Lockdown Haircuts, but we shouldn't leap to any assumptions. Formerly known as. 38 and a very solid 11 on the music round for 49 points. The World Health Organization, they still can't be bothered to cure the virus, but they're good at the quiz with 54. But panic at the Tesco, they were pipped at the post this week, or last week rather. Can they win today? They are on 55 at the moment. And that brings us up to question 12, and question 12 is taking us back to the pictures. You have to tell me, of these people, are they Portuguese, are they dead, or are they both? I guess if they're dead, were they Portuguese? So we're looking for one of 3 answers. Portuguese, dead, or both. There's 7 points available for that picture. Okay, hopefully you've got most of those Portuguese or not by now. We are now going to ask for question 13. Since 1953, who are the only two men not from the British Isles to have won the World Snooker Championship? Since 1953, who are the only two men not from the British Isles to have won the World Snooker Championship? And we also have a request in for question 9. Let's get that up on screen there. So question 9, we were asking what breed is the Dulux dog? And we're looking for a 3-word answer for the Dulux dog. What breed was the Dulux dog for question 9? Oh, I've skipped ahead there. Going to question 14, and we are going to be playing you some songs from the musicals. As regular listeners will know, the main reason we play these audio round clips is so that I can be told by Google that I have breached someone's copyright. Lo and behold, last week we had a copyright breach notification for playing from, I think it was Chicago. Anyway, you'll tell me what song is going to trigger the copyrights this time. We're looking not for the song names, but we're looking for the 3 musicals, or apparently franchises if applicable, whatever that means. The 3 musicals or musical franchises that are associated with these 3 songs.
Number 1.
Tale as old as time, true as it can be. Barely even friends, then somebody bends unexpectedly.
Number 2.
A lady doesn't wander all over the room and blow on some other guy's dice. So let's keep the party polite. Never get out of my sight. Stick with me, baby. I'm the fella you came in with. Luck be a lady. Luck be a lady. Luck be a lady tonight.
Number 3.
Oh, go, ladies.
I'm coming up, so you better get this party started. I'm coming up, I'm coming up, so you dare look back. Just keep your eyes on me. I said you're holding back. She said shut up and dance with me. That toot toot, let me get that beat beat. Running her hands through my fro, bouncing on tiny phones while they sing on the radio.
Okay, hopefully you've got at least a couple of those. Maybe there's one that's just stuck at the back of your brain, and another play would help you work it out. So we're going to hear those just one more time to help the Google bots identify me as the thief I am.
Number 1.
Tale as old as time, true as it can be. Barely even friends, then somebody bends unexpectedly.
Number 2.
A lady doesn't wander all over the room and blow on some other guy's dice. So let's keep the party polite. Never get out of my sight. Stick with me, baby. I'm the fella you came in with. Luck be a lady. Luck be a lady. Luck be a lady tonight.
Number 3.
Oh, go, ladies.
I'm coming up, so you better get this party started. I'm coming up, I'm coming up, so you dare look back. Just keep your eyes on me. I said you're holding back. She said shut up and dance with me. That toot toot, let me get that beat beat. Running her hands through my fro, bouncing my tiny phones while they sing on the radio.
Okay, and after that we are going back to the pictures with picture 15. We're going back to the pictures with picture 12 for question 15, my apologies. We are looking for some car models which have been paraphrased. So, what are the car models that we're looking for? 7 points available here. And while you're thinking about those, I can announce that the Spot Prize gives us an unprecedented double victory. England would fit into Russia 131 times, and the closest to that I am seeing is Daniel again. You said 100. Anyone who thinks that I've missed their message, do let me know. But otherwise, Daniel, well played. It's a genuine disgrace that you were closest on the first one, but this time you earned it and you got it. Question 16 takes us to a geography and institutions question. In which European city is the International Court of Justice? There's a few countries who don't want to be part of it because they're afraid that their people have done something wrong and would be told off. But in which European city is the International Court of Justice? And seeing that with all of my little snafus, we're running a little bit late even by normal standards, I'm going to push on to question 17 and we're back to the pictures. And we're back to the pictures, not one that I am able to show you just now, but hey again Terry. So we're looking for some missing vowel cheeses for picture 13. It's on your sheets and I will have it on screen in just a moment. Then on to question 18. Now, we know that when you mate a tiger and a lion, they make a liger or maybe a tigon. But what are the hybrid offspring called when you mate a donkey with a horse? There are two variations, and we're looking for both of them for a mark each. Then question 19 takes us to our final picture in the pictures. And we are asking, what do the red letters mean in each of these abbreviations or acronyms? You know that Tuesday is a red letter day because it's quiz day. But what do these red letters stand for? And finally, closing out round 2, we are asking, What was the paternal nickname of President Francois Duvalier of Haiti? He died in 1971. What was the paternal nickname of President Francois Duvalier of Haiti? He died in 1971. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes now to close out for round 2. Make sure you've gone back to any pictures you missed. Let me know if you'd like a question repeated. And then we will be coming into the wipeout round. Okay, that is quite enough time to be doing all of those from round 2, which means that we are coming into the wipeout round. In the wipeout round, we have 6 questions, and we give you a little something, but we take a lot away. It's difficult, and yet at the same time, tempting proposition. What we give you is that the last letter of each question is the last letter of the answer to each question is the first letter of the answer to the next question. So that'll help you work out whether you're on the right track. You can follow that wave all the way through if you're playing well. We also give 2 bonus points if you get all 6 marks right in the wipeout. You don't have to do anything for that on the sheet. That'll be automatic. What you do need to do on your marking sheet when we come to it is tell us whether someone got a question wrong. We're not just talking about leaving something blank. You're allowed to not know, but in the Wipeout round you are not allowed to know wrong. So if you put down one wrong answer, you lose all of your points for the round. It's difficult, don't make too many guesses. And here we go, we are coming on now with Wipeout question 1. What word comes before deep in the name of the deepest known part of the ocean? It's at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. What word comes before deep in the name of the deepest known part of the ocean? At the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Wipeout question 2. Who is the only US president to have been seen wearing a Nazi uniform? It's a little surprising in some ways that any of them have been seen wearing a Nazi uniform, but only one has. Who is it? Wipeout question 3. The title of which Puccini aria means "let no one sleep"? It's about opera, but the title of which Puccini aria means "let no one sleep"? Wipeout question 4. Zog the First was the one and only king of which country? It was from 1928 to 1939. Zog the First was the one and only king of which country from 1928 to 1939? I'll give you a clue. He wasn't related to either Zig or Zag from The Big Breakfast. Wipeout question 5. We're asking by area, what is the largest country in Africa? By area, what is the largest country in Africa? And the final question for the Wipeout round. They've never won the World Cup, but what's the nickname of the men's New Zealand national football team? What is the nickname of the men's New Zealand national football team? If anyone is hoping to hear something repeated, now is the time to ask. Otherwise, it is time to submit those answer sheets. I'm going to give you a song. Try to get them submitted in the next couple of minutes, because when we come back after the song, we are going to go immediately to the round 2 and wipe out answers and find out the final scores from the quiz.
You ask me where to begin. Am I so lost in my sin? You ask me where did I fall? I'll say I can't tell you when. But if my spirit is lost, how will I find what is near? Don't question, I'm not alone. Somehow I'll find my way home. My sun shall rise in the east, so shall my heart be at peace. And if you're asking me when, I'll say it starts at the end. You know your will to be free is matched with love secretly, and talk won't alter your prayer. Somehow you find you are there. Your friend is close by your side and speaks in far ancient tongue. A season's wish will come true. All seasons begin with you. One world we all come from. One world we melt into one. Just hold my hand and we're there. Somehow we're going somewhere. Somehow we're going somewhere.
Time to hit submit. Get those answers in before the end of the song.
You ask me where to begin. Am I so lost in my sin? You ask me where did I fall? I'll say I can't tell you when. But if my spirit is strong, I know it can't be wrong. No questions, I'm not alone. Somehow I'll find my way home. Somehow I'll find my way home. Somehow I'll find my way home. Somehow I'll find my way home.
Okay, your answers should be finding their way home to me round about now. I'm still waiting on all of 4 teams. I'm just going to check that I haven't overlooked any answers. That has happened before. And then we are going to go to the marking pretty shortly. So if you haven't hit submit, please get those round 2 and wipeout answers in. Okay, I see I have at least 7 through. It's just taking a minute for Google to spin its gears and send those back out to the marking. So do bear with me. There we go. So I have 7 registering, including the isolation hairy cuts. A change of name for round 2 from the isolation haircuts. The isolation, maybe Harry cuts. They may have become Harry Krishnas in the interim. So if you go through, you hopefully will see that the marking sheets are becoming active. It looks like we have lost. Who have we lost? Looks like we've lost Ginger Bear's Barmy Army. What a shocker. Ginger Bear, if you are out there, please do make sure to hit submit and get your answers in. Okay, there we go. And I was wrong. In fact, it wasn't Ginger Bear's Barmy Army we were waiting on. It was Sounds a Bit Hippie to Me. So clearly desperate at being mid-table, they were too ashamed to put their answer in. All right then, Sounds a Bit Hippie to Me should be coming through shortly. You may find, especially if you're team 7, that your marking sheet just takes a moment before it populates, so please bear with me, but I am going to start reading the answers. I'll get rid of that lightning because it's a bit annoying. There we go. So, round 2 answers. Genuine class, the anagram, it's Alec Guinness, and he truly was a genuine class act. The more common name for an alligator pear for question 2 was the avocado. Question 3 took us back to the pictures, and picture 8. We were looking for the full text from each of 4 road signs. Firstly, soft verges for 2 miles, then red route, hidden dip, and weak bridge. 4 points there. Soft verges for 2 miles, red route, it's 1 for the Londoners, hidden dip, and weak bridge. What Latin medical term translates as stiffness of death? You've undoubtedly heard it in, what's the one with the coroner? Possibly Quincy M.E. Silent witness was what I was going for, but it's rigor mortis. Question 5, which group of religious people generally call all outsiders English? It's the Amish. They fled from the English and they are still running away now. If you haven't watched Witness with Harrison Ford, it's a classic. Question 6, and onto the pictures again. We were on picture 9 and we were looking to work out words or phrases of French origin from literal translations. We had... Oh, I do beg your pardon. Hang on. No, there we are. I lost my thread for a second. Okay, so we had pied à terre. We had ménage à trois. I'm not going to explain that one. We had cordon bleu, potpourri, Grand Prix, and brunette. And now, in their anglicised pronunciation, pied à terre, ménage à trois, cordon bleu, potpourri, Grand Prix, and brunette. 6 points available. Question 7, and we were asked Khartoum is the capital of which African country? It was the Sudan. I see that people are having a little reunion on the comments thread. That is adorable. It was indeed avocado for question 2. Khartoum is the capital of the Sudan. The mystery voices, we had Victoria Wood, James Corden, and famous for having a cameo on Seinfeld, it's Bette Midler. 3 points available, Victoria Wood, James Corden, and Bette Midler. The Dulux dog, we said we were looking for 3 words, so I'm going to ask for all of them, and it is an Old English sheepdog. The Dulux dog is an Old English sheepdog. 1 point if you got that right. On to picture 10, and we had 4 odd ones out. Firstly, Paul McGann is from Italy. Skialism, which means superficial knowledgeability. None of that at the quiz. Pi Day, the 14th of March. And I guess that's all 4, isn't it? Paul McGann. Oh no, did I jump over Italy? Sorry. Italy was... I've misread my answers. Paul McGann may or may not be from Italy. That's not an explanation, that's another answer. So the 4 answers were Paul McGann, Italy, Skialism, and Pi Day. Question 11. The longest river in Europe is the Volga. If you've never read up on the Volga Vikings and their travels through Eastern Europe, it is a fascinating historical tale, as are indeed the travels of the Vikings in Western Europe. Crazy name, crazy guys. Volga River for question 11. Question 12, and we asked, as I'm sure you all were before we got to it, Portuguese, dead or both? We had 7 people, and I am going to have to read these in order. Normally we say this isn't a quiz of ordering, but for Portuguese, dead or both, you really have to have them in the right order. So, in order, dead, both, 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 dead, Portuguese, Portuguese. That may have been hard to follow, so I'm going to say it again and slightly slower. Dead, both. Third one is both. The 4th one is both. The 5th one is dead. I'm very sorry to hear it. The 6th one, Portuguese. And the 7th, Portuguese. 7 points available. Who are the only 2 men not from the British Isles to have won the snooker championship since 1953? We have Cliff Thorburn of Canada and Neil Robertson of Australia. That was 1980 and 2010 respectively. 2 points, Cliff Thorburn and Neil Robertson. And then we went to songs from the musicals. The first one, Beauty and the Beast. I know it so well. Second was Guys and Dolls. And third, a musical I honestly have not heard of. It's Pitch Perfect. That's Beauty and the Beast, Guys and Dolls, and Pitch Perfect. That third one sounded a little bit like a Frisky and Manish song, who I recommend highly once we are able to go outdoors. Question 15 took us to picture 12 and the car models. We had Escort, Prius, Boxster, E-Type, the Mint with the Hole, it's the Polo, 2CV, and the Accord. 7 points available. Escort, Prius, Boxster, E-Type, Polo, 2CV, and Accord. Question 16. In which city is the International Court of Justice? It's The Hague. Still give them the point if they've written Den Haag. Question 17. And we were on to cheeses with missing vowels. First we had feta, then Cornish yarg, that's a Y-A-R-G, Cornish yarg. Then we had pecorino or pecorini, and finally applewood. And remember, be generous with the spelling, although they probably should have all of the consonants that were on the picture. We asked what are the hybrid offspring of a donkey and a horse, and to name both variations, and it is, of course, a honky and a dorse. Of course not. It's a mule with a male donkey and female horse, or a little bit more obscure, a hinny for a female donkey and a male horse. For 2 points, mule and hinny. Question 19 took us to the last of our pictures, and we were asking for the words represented by just the 4 red letters in picture 14. And they were savings, as in the trustee savings bank. I certainly did not know that one. We then had tomography. It's an exciting word for an exciting pursuit. Tomography, as in computed tomography scan. And then we had monetary from International Monetary Fund. And finally, structured query language, query from SQL. That was a difficult set of red letters in my book, but we had, once again, savings, tomography, monetary, and query. Well done if you got all of them. And finally, for round 2, we had question 20, and we were asking what was the paternal nickname of President Francois Duvalier of Haiti, who died in 1971. And that was Papa Doc. Paternal nickname of Francois Duvalier was Papa Doc. 55 points available for round 2. That means that we have only the wipeout round left. And looking quickly at the scores, I'm not sure all the points have been added up, but it looks like the World Health Organization have taken the lead from Panic at the Tesco as we move into the final round. So, everything to play for on the wipeout. The gap is much less than 8 points. Now, first off, we asked, what word comes before deep in the name of the deepest known part of the ocean at the bottom of the Mariana Trench? That was the Challenger Deep. Challenger. I did not know that. We then asked, who is the only US president to have been seen wearing a Nazi uniform? It's Ronald Reagan. It was 1942, and he was serving in the Wehrmacht. No, hang on. Of course not. He was acting in the film Desperate Journey. Ronald Reagan for the point. Question 3, we asked the title of which Puccini aria means "Let no one sleep." And it is, of course, Nessun Dorma, or Nessun Dorma for the point. The immortally named Zog I for question 4 was the one and only king of which country? He lasted from 28 to 39, and it was Albania. For question 5, we were looking for the largest country by area in Africa. And it was Algeria. It's mostly desert, but it is space. Finally, we asked for the nickname of the men's New Zealand national football team. Trying to get out of the shadow of their more successful rugby cousins, they are the All Whites. Not the All Blacks, they are the All Whites. If the team you were marking got one of those questions wrong, and I mean actively wrong by writing in a wrong answer, please mark the little drop down to yes. Hopefully they're all at no. If they didn't get any questions wrong, make sure it says no. And I am just going to give it a couple of minutes for the lag to subside and for all of the marking to catch up with me. And then we are going to see what the final scores are. I guess I ought to give you one last short song, although I'm not really sure what it's going to be. This is going to be an adventure, isn't it?
She makes me so unsure of myself, standing there but never ever talking sense. Just a visitor, you see, so much wanting to be seen. She'd open up the doors and make me carry us away. It's the
customary thing to say or do to a disappointed proud man in his grief. And on Fridays she'd be there, but on Mondays not at all, just casually appearing from the clock across the hall. Here it goes, la 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 la. Here it goes, la.
Okay, that is obviously a classic, but it is time to go to the answers. Go to the final scores on the doors. Looks like every mark has come. Oh, well, I say it's every mark has come in. Why am I missing a point there? Stupid machine. Just let me let the cog grind for one further moment. Because I think that something may have been missing. There's always something, isn't there? Okay, finally, there we are. That has updated. So, before we go any further, by the way, you have all reported your team sizes. Thank you very much. I want to give a shout out to a couple of teams who were fighting against difficult odds. Just Heather. Can you guess what I'm going to tell you? It was only Heather. So well done for staying competitive. That is a heck of a total that you have chalked up for one person. If we multiply that by 6, you got several times more points than were available. I'll give a further shout out to Ginger Bear's Barmy Army for Daniel, who was rocking it on the spot prizes, but in a smaller team has struggled to stay in the leading pack, but well played both. And of course we have the Footlins, as ever, pushing the boat out with a much, much larger team than seems reasonable, all 7 of them. Anyway, so at the bottom of the table this week, showing that they have better things to do than learn a bunch of pointless trivia, we have Be Alert, Stay Safe, Go to Work, but don't if not safe. Don't use public transport, but go to work. They came in with 70 points. And then we had Just Heather, exceptionally respectable, coming in at 70... Oh, hang on a second. Am I still updating? That 78 just turned into a 79. My apologies. It does take a couple of minutes for the scores to work their way through the system. I thought that we were there, but I did see an extra point pop up right at the last minute. So anyway, Just Heather on 79 points. Only marginally behind Ginger Bear's Barmy Army at 83. Then on to the leading pack. Only 11 points divided our top 5 this week. We had the Footlins on 97, very respectable score. That would be a winning score some weeks. Everyone else up into the hundreds. We had Sounds a Bit Hippie to Me. We had the World Health Organization. We had the Isolation Haircuts. And we had Panic at the Tesco. That includes several previous Quizcazoatl pub quiz winners. In 4th, on 101, Sounds a Bit Hippie to Me. Bad luck, Janie. Janie says boo. The World Health Organization in 3rd with 103 points, which means that the 2 teams who were pipped in our last 2 tiebreakers are in the running for the lead this week. Isolation Haircuts got 104, but Panic at the Disco got 108. Well done, Panic at the... Did I just say Disco? Well done, Panic at the Tesco. You are out-and-out winners this week. We do not need to do a tie-break next time. I'm a bit disappointed. I was enjoying them. Thank you very much to everyone for participating today. Remember, if you have appreciated this rather epic this week, 2 hours, 37 minutes of entertainment, do consider making a donation to the Lewisham Food Bank using the link on our Facebook, on our YouTube page. That's my personal YouTube channel, rebranded for the Quizcazoatl Pub Quiz. Stay safe, stay indoors, apparently also stay alert. I also have no idea what that actually means, but I think probably it means that if you see anyone who looks like they don't know what stay alert means, you should avoid them. We'll be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Cheers!